Chris Salcedo, the salty pedo. I'm kidding. I don't even know, quite frankly, that this video has any worth to us at all. It's mainly about the main chyron I wanted to show you. This is on Newsmax. This is while Trump is on his trial and while he's, on his weird hard fade, being stupid and all that. Let's see, hold on. Mar-a-Lago, Spanish for Sea to Lake, is a resort national landmark in Palm Beach, Florida, owned by 1985 Donald Trump, was built for businesswoman and socialite Marjorie Merriweather Post between 1924 and 27. During the 20s Florida land boom, at the time of her death in 1973, Post bequeathed the property to the National Park Service, hoping it could be used for state visits or as a winter White House. And he bought it, and he had to promise to do the same thing because he bought it from the state. There you go. Yeah, live from her bedroom, totally gross. Okay, so this is Salcedo. Americans alone, the parties abandon our people. I don't know why this is a quote, but this is it. Chris Salcedo, the parties have abandoned our people, which is, again, him attacking Democrats, not news. This is equating the Democrats and Republicans being the same group. Whenever they do this, it's bad on the Republican side. That they're just, even the whole uniparty story is them recognizing just what a pitiful minority they are at this point.
As you know, I've been sounding the alarm about the uniparty for some.
Right. Oh, there you go. Okay. So the uniparty is this kind of fallback, version. This is like Illuminati for dummies.
Now, I've done so in recognition that despite divided government, the GOP gets nothing, while the Democrats get a rubber stamp.
Also, stupid. They have a 4-vote majority. They can't get anything major done. What in the world standard are you holding them to? I mean, I appreciate that he's abandoning the Republicans and leaving, just being a dickhead about it. I do. I like that. I appreciate it. I'm glad, that he's inconsistent and stupid and weak and unsupportive and habitually an asshole. But if I disassociate from the entire thing, isn't this just you being shitty?
Recent events have only bolstered the truth of my observations.
No. What recent events? That they've lost a couple of votes from their majority, specifically Santos and McCarthy, who's going to be gone by the end of the year?
Americans alone, the parties abandon our people. That's my report in today's
Yeah, that's just dumb.
preamble.
The preamble. That quote that's below me is a quote from my face.
Say there are conservatives and 1 or 2 Democrats who still believe in America, our mutual compact, the Constitution, and preserving our way of life. But
that's why we got a infrastructure bill passed.
Nowhere near a majority in that Congress. In fact,
certainly the Republicans don't have a genuine majority anyways.
Conservatives are being boxed out of any decision making, even representing their own voters in Congress. More on that in a minute.
And he does mean moron.
But let's go over some recent headlines that prove the GOP leadership, in collusion with the Marxists,
in collusion with I didn't realize they were. Are you sure they're colluding with the Marxists? They're not just Marxists themselves, and this was all a big plot?
In the freedom, prosperity, and security of the American people, and have done so with an un-American double standard. The GOP showed great passion and determination at reducing and thinning their majority even more when they voted not once, not twice, but 3 times to expel George Santos.
I see. So this is a violation of the values and ethics of the conservative movement, getting rid of this guy because it costs you a vote. And so it's better to keep that vote and this scumbag than get rid of him. Stay classy.
From the House, a guy accused of being a pretty bad dude.
A pretty bad dude. Among other dudes.
The GOP Congress has not voted once on measures attached to must-pass bills to defend you from socialist Democrats.
Must-pass bills. They've done budgetary stuff. They passed the CR.
Much less voted on them 3 times.
Well, if it's a must-pass, most of them don't have to be voted on more than once.
On the other hand, How do Republicans treat Democrats? Well,
Depends on the Democrat, I guess.
Adam Schiff knowingly and demonstrably lied to the country about President Trump, in particular in a phone conversation with Ukraine's president. For his dishonesty in an official proceeding of the U.S. Congress, Adam Schiff was censured. No real-world penalty for his weaponization of the trust placed.
Oh, look at him. And here he is pictured with his wife being nice to gay people. This is terrible. He should just be censured again. Also, they do know that the entire text of the phone call was in the record. So when Schiff was going, basically Trump was using mob speak, he was interpreting how Trump talks, and Michael Cohen agreed with him about that. The guy who worked for him and fixed his problems for years. It wasn't like, instead of putting in, like, as head of the committee, instead of putting in the text of the phone call, he just made up what Trump said. Like, this is one of the dumbest arguments they make.
Him as head of the Intelligence Committee. Intelligence he dishonestly used against fellow Americans. The GOP...
Well, in all fairness, Republicans would do that, but they have no intelligence, so...
had the chance to dissuade future Democrats from ever doing something like that again. Those who love our country know that politics cannot be allowed into such arenas as intelligence and defense.
Oh, you mean when Trump didn't listen to his intelligence community about the threat that Putin played and spoke openly about that, and of course invited them into the Oval Office and during that meeting apparently gave them information on Israeli spies, and one of them ended up dying? You mean like that?
But the GOP opted not to penalize Schiff in the pocketbook for his abuse of our people.
How did he abuse our people? So the idea is that maggots are so lazy that they think that when someone puts evidence into the record, it doesn't have any weight. What has weight is what people say out loud in their 5-minute preamble. If they bother to ask a question of somebody that's a witness before a committee, that's maybe a little part of it, but mostly it's whatever they can yammer about. It's the yammering that constitutes evidence. No wonder this is how all your people behave.
The GOP wasn't done. Squad member and accused anti-Semite Jamal Bowman was also censured by the GOP. Bowman, one of the more militant anti-American extremists in the
militant
party.
I think he almost said melanin, and that, had to stop himself.
Admitted his guilt in the crime of pulling down a fire alarm when there was no fire. It was an act that disrupted an official proceeding of Congress. Remember, the GOP voted 3 times to expel an accused fellow Republican out of the House.
Well, the idea was that the door was locked, and if you pull the fire alarm, the door will open, and he could get out that way, and he was trying to rush because he was being lazy and stupid.
The GOP could only manage to censure an admitted criminal Democrat.
An admitted criminal. A criminal that committed a crime that most of us probably were guilty of in high school at least once.
Now, to all of you GOP voters out there, how does it make you feel knowing that the party you elected to the majority in the U.S. House is more interested in attacking their own than stopping Democrats and protecting you?
Well, you're not talking to me, but I'm enjoying it. I find it, these are popcorn days.
In fact, the GOP can't even apply equal standards.
Nope, clearly not. All right, I didn't need to watch any more of this. This is the same yammer that he's been putting forward, and nobody gives a rat's ass. But I think it's an important distinction